But hi, my name is Katie Allen. I will briefly introduce myself. Um, I am a senior director with UBAM. Oh, hi, Rachel. Okay, I'm think I'm in the right place, or else Rachel probably would have said I was in the wrong place. But I'm a senior director with UBAM. I have been a consultant since August 2015. So um, a little over 5 years. I just celebrated my 5 year anniversary. Somebody said my bookshelf looks like a dollhouse. Thank you. I love my bookshelf here. It's like built in right there. It's one of my faves. Thank you. Um, so, and anyway, I've been around for 5 years and I am talking to you today about falling in love with your business. And obviously, it's fall, so that's where the title came from. But I think this is actually the perfect thing to talk about. I'm so excited. And it kind of ties into the fact that I have been around for 5 years and I joined right before the fall of 2015. And that was really truly when I fell in love with my business. It was such an exciting fall. There was so much momentum in our company. And what's been going on this year in UBAM is really reminiscent of that time. So, I think it's really fitting to talk about that. Like, what does it look like to fall in love with your business? What did it look like for me to fall in love with my business 5 years ago? And what could it look like for you? Quick side note, if you hear any like weird banging or noises, we are having our bathroom remodeled downstairs, and there is somebody here like knocking out walls and things. So I apologize for that. But I want to start off. Oh, somebody says we joined in the same month. Woo woo, that's so fun. Okay, I want to start off talking about what it means to fall in love with your business because you hear that all the time. Like, oh my gosh, I love you, Bam, or I really want you to fall in love with this, or I've fallen in love with this. Okay, what does that mean to really love your business? And it might be different for you, so you can let me know in the comments. But when people say they love their business, um, I think this is what they're talking about. They're saying that they feel inspired by their business, that they feel motivated by their business, they feel motivated to work their business. This one's really important. I think that they mean that they feel accomplished by their business. They feel like they've accomplished something in their business. They feel proud of their business. I would argue there are probably very few people out there who would simultaneously say that they love their business, but they aren't also proud of something that they've done in their business. So let me know in the comments some things that make you feel like you really love your business. Because I think that's really important for us to kind of like pinpoint, like, what is it that we're really trying to make happen when we say that we want to fall in love with our business? Because I think that that's really important for us to understand that for you to really, really love what you're doing here, you really do need to feel inspired. You do need to feel motivated. You need to feel like you are accomplishing something. You need to feel proud of what you're doing. You need to feel like you're achieving something. Rachel says, I love my business because it gives me a way to live our purpose, to live out purpose. I was like, I don't understand. To live out purpose. Yes, I love that. That's so good. So I really want you to think about that. Like, what does that look like for you? I think a lot of times, Kimberly says empowering others. I think a lot of times we talk about what our why is in this business. And when we talk about getting motivated or when we talk about getting reconnected to UBAM, we talk about our why. Like, well, what's their why? So what I mean by that is like, oh, well, I hear people say all the time, oh, she has a really strong why. Like she's trying to adopt a baby and so she has a really strong why because she needs this money, or she has a really strong financial why, and so her why is really strong because she really needs that money in order to like help her family's finances or to get out of debt. Or I hear people say, oh my gosh, she has such a strong why because She just needs something for herself. Like she's just gone through a separation or a life event or something. And so she just really, really needs this. And that's important, guys. Having a strong why is important. But have you ever had somebody who had a strong why on your team? Maybe it's even you. But then the accomplishments and the promotions and all of that in UBAM didn't really follow. Even though the why was really strong, the results weren't really there. And so I guess what I'm trying to say, no, I know that this is what I'm trying to say, is that a why is important, but it can't stop there. We can't just stop with like a clear and a strong why. We also have to have clear and strong goals that we are working towards. That is such a necessity for loving your business. And I'm going to kind of explain a little bit about that. Maintaining is not fun. It really isn't. This idea of just like, okay, well, now I'm a team leader, so I guess I need to just maintain my minimums. I'm going to have my set number of parties every week. I'm just going to kind of go through the motions, check things off my check boxes, and that's how I'm going to run my business. Maybe change my script out when the new season comes, talk about the new titles. Those things can be fun, but really, you're just maintaining your business. And honestly, doing that, it's not very inspiring. It can get kind of boring and it's not going to probably stay super fun. If you want to feel inspired, if you want to feel motivated, if you want to feel accomplished, you have to be growing. You need to be innovating. You need to be creating. You need to be building. Those things are going to be what makes you love your business. So I've been around for 5 years, which feels like a long time, but I also know we have people who've been around way longer than that. But I can tell you that in my 5 years in UBAM, there have been times when I have been absolutely in love with my business, and there have been times when I have been completely not in love with my business. There have been times when I have legitimately wanted to quit my business. And when I look back at those times, at the times when I was not in love with my business, it's because I wasn't growing, I wasn't innovating, I wasn't creating, I wasn't building. I was just trying to maintain. I was just trying to get by. I was just trying to do the status quo. If you really want to fall in love with your business this fall, you have to get into the mindset of growth and innovation and building and accomplishing your goals. Because when you get your mind focused there, that is going to be when that love of UBAM and that love of your business really starts to come into play. So let's talk a little bit. Hold on, I'm going to have some coffee because this is my Dream Big mug. I picked it out on purpose for this Live and Leaders. All right, I'm going to read some of the comments really fast. I love my business because I'm finally doing things I've always wanted to do, bond with my children on a level that allows them to have options, sharing these experiences with other families. These are such good answers. Janine says, was that during the time that won't be named? Somewhat, yes. Somewhat. It's happened to me a couple times. I think it actually started, like I had my daughter and then it kind of happened, and that was a little bit before the time that won't be named. But yes. Okay, so let's talk about setting goals. Let's talk about creating like that growth experience, creating that experience where we are achieving more, where we're feeling motivated, where we're feeling inspired. Let's talk about what that looks like. Hold on. Oh my gosh, I finally got my little video thing to be bigger and I feel like I'm not like looking down in the corner. That's so much better. Okay. Oh, Rachel says, I had this phase over the summer going into August and it was hard and not fun. Yes, we all have those phases. Guys, honestly, you can't just be like doing this all the time. You're going to have phases where you have to maintain a little, where you have to like settle in a little bit. That's okay. But you can't stay there or you're going to lose your love for your business. Okay, so I have my little notes on a thing right here. So I want you to ask yourself this question. Where do you want to be come December 31st, 2020? Where do you want to be in your UBAM business? I highly doubt if you sit down to really ask yourself that question that you're going to give an answer like, well, I just want to have, had X number of parties and sold this much. That's kind of a boring answer. No offense. Like those are kind of good markers that you're running a pretty good personal business, but that's not really inspiring. So, where do you want to be come December 31st, 2020? Let me give you some ideas. Not all of these answers will be right for all of you. Maybe it's I want to have earned the trip. Maybe it's I want to have earned the trip for 2. Maybe it's I want to, like maybe you're real far from earning the trip right now. So maybe it's like I want to be within this amount of earning the trip with a very clear plan for how I'm going to cross the finish line in January. Maybe it's I want to have promoted out a leader. Maybe it's I want to have promoted up a level. Maybe it's I want to have hit home office challenge, whatever, every single month and gotten an extra recruit. Maybe it's I want to help somebody underneath me promote up a level. I want you to think about maybe it's I want to have my calendar so packed for January that I don't have to stress about coming back from Christmas. Like I want to truly crack the booking code and become like really amazing at booking and just like load up my calendar and have like a constant source of parties and business. So I want you to think about that. Like, where do I want to be on December 31st? What would make me, this is probably an even better question, what would make me feel proud? What would make me feel accomplished? That's what you need to think about. What goal would really mean a lot to you, not to somebody else? Don't just like, you don't even have to tell me right now. This is your answer. This is not an answer for anybody else. Like, what would make you feel like you are proud of your business? Like, that energy that you get from accomplishing something when you're working towards a goal and you start to see yourself get towards it. What would make you feel that way? So I want you to really think about that because we do a lot of goal setting, in the new year, at convention. But let me tell you what, this is the season when I really think we need to be doing our goal setting because this is the season, October, November, December, when traditionally bookings do come more easily, sales do come more easily. You're meeting so many people, you can get recruits, you can help those recruits get sales. So yeah, this is the time when you need to sit down and you need to figure out what are my goals for this October, November, December. Where am I going? What do I want to focus in on? And set those goals right now because they're probably different. Things probably look different than how they looked at convention. A lot of time has passed. You know what I mean? They're certainly different from whatever goals maybe that you set in January. So let's sit down and let's figure out what do we want to accomplish this fall. Let's get ourselves out of maintaining, out of just kind of going through the motions, even if those motions are kind of busy and chaotic because there's a lot going on in the fall. Let's get ourselves out of going through motions and let's get ourselves into focusing on some clear goals that are going to make us feel really proud, that are going to make us feel motivated, and they're going to make us feel like we love our business. Okay, so I've already talked probably too long, but I have a couple more things to share with you. Once you have those goals written down, once you know where you're going, this next part is super important, and you've probably heard it before, but you have to figure out what you're going to do to get there. You cannot just say, oh, I'd love to promote out a leader. Okay, cool. So would I. So would everybody. What are you going to do to make that happen? Okay, I will have earned the trip, or I will be within this far of earning the trip. Okay, cool. That sounds great. What are you going to do to make it happen? You have to define your actions and your strategy. This is where I think truly, I will say this forever and ever and ever. If it's possible on paper, it's possible. That's something that Tabitha Roach has said a long time ago and is one of my favorite UBAM things. You need to show how it's possible on paper. That's what you need to do. Get that goal and define how you're going to do it. Get it on paper. Figure out how it's possible on paper. Until you do that, you're just kind of swimming aimlessly. So let's put it on paper and let's figure out how it's possible. And then let's figure out like our actions that we're going to take. Once you start to put it on paper, once you start to say like, okay, well, I'm going to get this many trip points from personal sales and I'm going to get this many from recruits, and I already have these recruits and they're selling about this much, but then I need to get this. Like once you start to put it on paper, it's going to be so much easier to see what those actions need to be. If your goal is to promote out a team leader, great, cool, that's a great goal. But okay, now let's put it on paper. Let's, do you have somebody in the works for that? Who do they have? How many recruits do they have? What are their struggles? Do they need more help with booking? Do they need more help with recruiting? What actions can you take to help them with that? So on and so forth. If you have somebody underneath you who is trying to promote up a level, like helping them do that. So figuring out what steps you need to take and what your strategy is important. Okay, this is going really long. I'm going to try to talk real fast and I apologize. The next thing you need to do after you put it on paper is you need a system for tracking it. I don't know what that's going to be for you. It could literally be a notebook with chicken scratch, and every day you're just kind of like rewriting it and like turning the page, blah, blah, blah. That is generally what my systems look like. It could be something a little bit more fancy, a spreadsheet, I don't know. But you need some sort of system for tracking it. I promise you need that. You need something where you can visually go in and go, okay, yes, I checked in with her. I know this recruit has this many sales. Okay, yeah, she's closer here. Oh, yeah, she's got 8 bookings next month. Oh, she only has 4. Okay, I got to go focus on that. Like you need some sort of system for tracking it. It doesn't have to be fancy. When I promoted to director, it looked like chicken scratch. Doesn't have to be fancy. Can be fancy if that's your jam, but you need something. And then finally, and then I'm going to shut up because I talked for a long time and I apologize. You need a daily commitment. When I say daily, I mean like most every day. I try not to work on Sundays. That's just kind of my thing. But most days, days when you're working, you need daily commitment to that goal. It is very easy to get lost in all the little tasks that we need to do. Set up our hostess coaching here, set up the script, make wish lists, send them, follow up with people, all those things that are very good and important to keep our businesses running. And guess what falls off? That one thing we really want. That one thing we really want, that goal that we just said that would make us feel really proud about our business, it kind of falls by the wayside because we haven't made a daily commitment to that. Let me give you some advice. Whatever this goal is or goals that you have set for yourself that you want to have hit before December 31st, wake up every day and when you start working, do that thing first. The rest will fall into place. You're not just going to ghost your hostess. You're not just going to not, follow up with your customers. You're going to do those things. I promise. But start with that commitment. Start with that goal. Start with those actions first so that they don't fall off your plate. I'm going to end with this. You've probably heard this before, but like energy flows where focus and attention goes. Have you heard that? Energy flows where focus and attention goes. So you want your focus and your attention to be going to those actions and strategies that you have defined that are going to help you accomplish those goals. And that's where your energy needs to flow because that is going to be what makes you love your business, what makes you feel motivated by your business, what makes you feel inspired by your business, what makes you fall in love with your business. So, that's all that I have for you today. I apologize for going long. This is my first ever Live in Leaders. Crazy. And I'm really long-winded, but I'm going to go drink a lot more of my coffee, and I'm going to sit down and do what I just told you to do. I'm going to think about what I want to have accomplished by December 31st, and I am going to define a strategy, and I'm going to write it out, and I'm going to make a way to track it, and I'm going to commit to doing it every day. So, okay, guys, thank you so much. I hope you have the most